Okay, now it's time to talk about your resume project as we're moving forward. You should have learned a lot of basics of markup and certainly finished chapter 5, if not even started read into chapter 6. And hopefully you submitted your early Word version of resume to me on time, and hopefully I got you my feedback quickly to you. And as a result of that, I probably suggested lots of changes and probably lots of additions. So I hope in the meantime you have made those to the Word document. But if you haven't, it's time to begin to do those perhaps as you transition into HTML, because that's what this is about. So here is the assignment sheet, which you can get on Moodle. The instructions are to create this folder structure, which I won't go over except to say that it is important, and make sure what you zip and give to me is the root folder. It will just have one document in it at this time still. And again, a reminder to beef it up and make the changes. So look at your notes from your class in chapter 5 for guidance. You have to add basic HTML structure. First of all, the absolute basic minimum structure, like the doc type and HTML and head and body, all that stuff has to be there. But then you have to add levels of structure. You have an H1, which will be your name, and H2 will be the big categories: objective, education, employment, and so on. You'll have quite a few of those. Within those, many will have H3s. They'll have subcategories. Like for under education, the subcategory would be the different schools, like SUNY Plattsburgh, Clinton Community College, and maybe your high school. And within each one of those, it's possible you'd have subcategories. More likely, you could have paragraphs and lists, maybe multiple paragraphs, maybe even multiple lists. Maybe most likely the lists you will use will be unordered lists and definition lists or description lists, the DLs. And so employment would be another example of definitely will have an H2 and then H3s for your different jobs. Some categories won't have H3s. Objective won't. Skills may not, unless you have different categories of skills. Volunteerism may not. Hobbies may not. These may be different kinds of lists. Sometimes it will be paragraphs. Whatever you do, don't fake the structure with paragraphs and like B's for bolding and BRs. I don't want to see any BRs. I don't want to see you are going to use, you may use some inline elements, but they must be for really good reason. It must have a true semantic meaning. I don't want to see a whole lot of B's and EMs or strongs or I's just for presentation. If what you use should be really important for meaning. So I do want you to use, though, an HR before the copyright line. I do want you to do a copyright line and style it small. I do want you to use the escape character, the special character for the copyright symbol. I suggest this, what it should look like, copyright, and so on there. That'll be the last line before the end of the body. I do want you to include at least one comment. I do want you to use, in addition to the HR and the small, and the lists and the headings, at least two other, two inline elements from this list, or perhaps from others that you find in your textbook if you prefer those. You might use an ABBR. You don't have to, though. But I'm sure you can find some things that make sense to make a strong or an I or EM or a B, or look through the list in your text of some others. Okay, that's the assignment. I'll let you review it more yourself and do it, but I will go over a couple of things. This is a pretend short, goofy resume structure. Hey, don't forget your title. What would the title be? It's probably going to be your name. I like to use a pipe character to separate things in a title. You can use spaces or not. I'm not going to use spaces. A pipe character is a shift and the slash, which is up underneath the backspace. You could use a slash though too. And I'm going to say resume. Every one of your pages, later we'll split this up into multiple pages, is going to have a name, which is your brand, right? And then some other identifying information. So it might be resume. You can put more things here if you want. Remember, this is important for SEO, and it's the name of the page. It appears on the tab of the page. And down here, when you have a page minimized, it would appear also. So remember, this is an H1 is your name. There's only one H1, but there always must be an H1 on the page. Whoa, H1, like that, good. And then we're going to be tabbing, right? So tab and H2 objective. Good. And this is a paragraph of gibberish that I put in here, right? I'll make it a subset of the H2. Okay. And guess what? We have education. So this category, objective, doesn't have any subcategories. It's just going to have your objective there. And it should be the first one in line too, by the way, your objective. Education might very well be the second one. Let's get this going here. H2, education, close the H2. I could be doing some cutting and pasting here instead of all this typing, which I'm having trouble with today anyway. H3 is the name of the college. It's like a subset of education, but it is its own category. So it doesn't make sense to have it be a paragraph, right? And then what's going to be here? Expected graduation, GPA, major, maybe other things. And then I have a paragraph of information about the college, right? Which is at this point gibberish. Well, that looks to me like it should be a list, right? Whoa, like that. UL. And there could be more things in here. You're going to have lots of lists, I think. Most commonly ULs. And then, of course, I'm going to have LIs. And close my LI. And I'm going to copy this one here. Paste, paste, and copy. Paste and paste. Grab that stuff and tab it in. It makes sense to have that be an unordered list of things. Could be other things about the school. But I think if you're going to have more of a description, like this is, and it should be a description, probably a lengthy description, maybe multiple paragraphs here. It's going to explain what student Plattsburgh is like, why you chose it, how it's been important to you, what was your major about, what are some important classes, maybe a list of some classes then, and so on. This is really abbreviated here. Yours is going to be much longer. So it's going to be a paragraph. And employment is going to be a similar idea. Employment is going to be my H2, right? And then my, oops, I should be back here. And then my H3 is going to be the job. It's going to be my H3. And then I might have a list of things about the job. Or, oops. And a paragraph about what I did there and what it taught me and so on. And then I have another job and so on, another job and so on. So there'd be other H3s here for more schools perhaps. Maybe only one school, maybe more. You probably have more than one job. H3 and a job, H3 is the name of the job, and then more description, paragraphs and lists, paragraphs and lists. But what I wanted to get to is we've got a another category, another H2, okay? Skills. Remember, I just didn't do the employment section, but you'll have to do your own. So what is this? HTML and CSS, and then a description about it. Photoshop, then a description. That looks to me like a DL. What about you? I think so. So there is no H3 in this category because I just have a list of skills. There's no subcategories. But let's say I had a whole bunch of computer skills. Well, I could make an H3 for computer skills and then list them. And then I could make an H3 for other kind of skills, interpersonal skills or something, and then list those. So make sure that the structure makes sense for your information. Remember how this goes? DL, DT, close my DT. And then again I have DD. And I'm going to close my DD. See all this lorem ipsum stuff? That's the way we generally do silly fill-in text. In case you want to know, you can go to lorem ipsum generators online. There's many of them that will generate for you big chunks of lorem ipsum, which has got his history behind it if you ever want to go learn about that. My DT, I close my DT. And my last DD here, right? It's important in all this, and by the way, if I can click on any tag to make sure it closes properly, I can see the other side, that I didn't forget my head, HTML, doc type, body, close HTML. That stuff is all important still. I'm going to save this and run it. So you can see how my structure is coming out. Is it pretty? Does it have the fonts I want, the right color, other indenting and margins, all that stuff? No, it doesn't. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't try to make changes for appearance of this site, at this stage. You're building the house. This is the 2x4s. This is the electrical system. This is the plumbing. This is the basic structure. Make it strong with good semantic meaning.